I'm really looking forward to talking about client services with you all this morning. It's definitely the thing that wakes me up and gets me here every morning. I'm excited about working with the 18 members that I directly manage here in the Richmond location. I'm going to share my screen with you all and go through a little slideshow presentation that I've prepared, just so that you guys can get a little bit more information about the way that client services can help support you through the end of the year. So in staying, people that know me know that I love a theme, and staying with the finishing the race strong theme, I'm gonna highlight the pit crew that's gonna get you through it. So at the end of the year, your 2020 DP year-end guide that's gonna be posted in the resources section of the Dominion Payroll website. That's gonna be a great way to get some additional resources and have things at your fingertips. We'll also place there a year-end checklist. We've just created a response so that if you reach out to our customer service team, we can provide you with a handy checklist you can kind of keep by your desk as you're navigating the last couple months of the year and early into the next. We're going to do a breakdown of IRS Publication 15B, which is very, very exciting. I will say that the IRS does a great job of kind of highlighting the changes for the year at the very top of the article there, and we'll be sure that we drop the link in the chat here for you guys to reference. I solve the system that makes it all happen. That's really gonna assist you through anything you need to update in the coming months. And then our friendly customer service team, whether you're working with our Tennessee location, our Texas location, or us here in Richmond, we're always eager and willing to help. It was so encouraging to see some of the chats this morning. So thank you for all the kind words. I know that they really appreciate it. I'm just highlighting some important days here. When the federal holidays are put on the calendar, that means that no money will be moving, and in turn, Dominion Payroll will not be processing or moving any money either. So obviously, Thanksgiving Day, a week from today, will be closed along with the Federal Reserve. Christmas Day, New Year's Day of 2021, and then in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Monday, January 18th, we're also closed. That's not to say that customer service representatives aren't working on the backside to make sure that they can answer some tickets and keep you all, keep the pace moving forward, being that January is such a busy month in the new year. Wednesday, December 30th, just jot this on your calendar. It's the absolute last day that we can even try to submit a payroll for a 2020 pay date, being that Thursday is the 31st and the final day of the year. So that just keep that in mind. And then the weekend before Monday, January 11th, our tax team will be here for a whole weekend, printing those W-2s and getting them ready to go out the door. So starting that Monday, we'll be sending out W-2 packages along with payroll packages, try to keep everything in one place for you all as you receive those. And also our goal is that electronic W-2s will be available for viewing online. This is a great time to take a look at the 2021 payroll schedule, maybe take a self-audit of the remaining payrolls you have for 2020. If you find that there's any discrepancies for the upcoming year, maybe a holiday rule, maybe you just don't like where it falls. I think thinking ahead, December 31st, I believe it is next year, January 1 is falling on a Saturday. So Federal Reserve will observe New Year's Day on Friday, December 31st. So maybe you just want to make sure that payroll dates are in line. And if you find that you need any assistance, just reach out to us. We do want to be mindful of any year-end adjustments that need to be recorded for the calendar year of 2020. Of course, we want to make sure that the need to correct any already printed W-2s is minimal. We're asking that you please reach out to customer service and just let us know if there's going to be any fringe benefits that you may need to record, maybe some voided checks, manual checks that were issued, anything that needs to be adjusted at all. Just give us a heads up. We do have some checklists that we'll be providing. That way you can kind of give us the needed information. We do understand third-party sick tends to be a really great example of something that may not be readily available by the end of the calendar year. So just reach out to us, and communication is key here. Just give us a heads up if that's something you're waiting on. We can let the tax team know to put a hold on printing those W-2s so we can get everything recorded. So just by Monday, December 14th, if you can give us a heads up, we can just make a note, be in communication with our tax department so that we're not processing or printing W-2s too soon, not closing the books on anything too soon. All right, so I'm going to get started talking about some common things that are going to be happening in the end of the year, and one of which is issuing a bonus. It's something that many of our clients end up doing, and we just have some general rules of thumb or helpful tips and tricks to get you through the end of the year when it comes to issuing a bonus. So if you know already in advance that you will be issuing a bonus, we do have a generated response that's a web-based link. It's a checklist here. And I've provided a couple of screenshots. You'll see it in real time in an email. And of course, this slide deck will be on our year-end guide resource page. So when it comes to issuing a bonus, you communicate to our customer service team that you will be issuing those bonuses. We send you this checklist. It asks you some common questions like, will you need to import it? Will you be hand keying them on your own? Should we create an off-cycle payroll run for this, or should we combine it with a regular, already planned payroll run? We ask you to specify the check date. Maybe, are these going to be live checks or direct deposits? Or are you just recording a bonus that was issued in the form of cash or a gift card? What the tax coverage should be, if you want to gross up that bonus check or not. Deductions, if any specific deductions should or should not apply. The taxability, of course. Pay stubs, some employers communicate to us that they do not want pay stubs to go out when the payroll is processed. We also have a comments box, and there's also an opportunity for you to attach any information you want to provide to us. And then once we receive the response back, we work with you to make sure you can get those bonuses issued. We do take special consideration of high liability payrolls. So typically our ACH processors will require funds verification for any payroll with $100,000 just of federal tax liability, being that the tax payment is due immediately, essentially, or a total of an ACH debit that's over $500,000. And that simply obviously doesn't include a live check situation. But if the total debit from your bank account based on one payroll that's going to be processed is over $500,000 or more, that's considered a high liability payroll. Sometimes our ACH processors will ask us to pursue funds verification. So if you ever, we like to mention it here today, so it's less surprising if and when we were to get to that point, especially if you're not generally processing payrolls that are that high. 2 business day deadline for processing is still a good rule of thumb to follow. That just ensures that timely funding and posting is happening. You just want to make sure that you're seeing those timely debits from your account and timely posting in your employees' accounts. Moving on to fringe benefits. We certainly get a lot of fringe benefit requests at the end of the year. The most common are things like group term life, insurance premiums paid by an employer, some auto allowances, rent paid by an employer, tuition assistance, awards and prizes in the form of gift cards or non-cash compensation, and certain moving expenses. The IRS defines a fringe benefit as a form of payment for the performance of services. This is certainly one of the more common requests we get at this time of year, and we do typically record things in a lump sum, and in the next few slides, we'll go over some specifics about what these are and the steps we take to record them. All right, so I was talking about IRS publication 15B, and when you go and navigate to the page, at the top, they highlight the key things that have changed. So what's changed for 2020 and looking into the future of 2021? The business mileage rate for 2020 has increased to 57.5 cents per mile. Also in 2020, the monthly exclusion for qualified parking and commuter highway vehicle transportation, as well as transit passes, has increased to $270. For plan years beginning in 2020, a cafeteria plan may not allow an employee to request salary reduction contributions for a health FSA in excess of $2,750. That's a $50 increase over last year. We'll also talk in the slides ahead about the new Form 1099 NEC. I'll read here what the IRS publication says, and then kind of discuss the way that I compartmentalize the key differences here. There is going to be a new Form 1099 NEC to report non-employee compensation paid in 2020. The 2020 Form 1099 NEC for non-employee compensation will be due February 1st of 2021. For non-employee compensation that was paid in 2019, you'll continue to use the Form 1099 miscellaneous, which is due January 31st, 2020. If you communicate to us that you need to record a fringe benefit, this is another web-based form that we provide you a link for in regards to a checklist. We ask you to let us know what W-2 year this applies to. We're processing adjustments, year round. So we just want to make sure that if there's something that needs to be recorded for 2020, it's clarified here. How many employees need to be included in the fringe benefit that's being reported, what the fringe benefit type is. If you've reported this before historically or not, we may need to create a record of it in iSolve. That's why we ask that here. What the tax coverage is. We do ask that you seek guidance because we're not able to provide any guidance here. We're only able to do what was requested. Taxability, is there a specific box? 12 code for the earnings on the W-2. How would you like the description of the earnings to appear in box 14? How will you be entering the fringe benefit information? Maybe importing a spreadsheet or hand keying the information. There's also a comments box and a place to attach files if that's easier to provide to us, especially in the form of a spreadsheet. 1099 changes effective for the 2020 year end. I talked previously about the difference between the 1099 NEC and the 1099 miscellaneous. Historically, we had produced 1099s for whatever was placed in iSolved. IRS only mandates that 1099s be issued for anyone with $600 or more in non-employee compensation. So if there are records in iSolved of contractors being paid anything less than $600, just keep in mind we won't be issuing 1099s for those. I talk about here, there's a difference, and I'll show you this screenshot of the two forms. The new 1099 miscellaneous, you really have to dig in there and take a look at it. But the key differences are, contractors might be the best example of non-employee compensation, which will be using this new 1099 NEC form. And then in boxes 1 and 2 on the new 1099 miscellaneous, it really is being true to miscellaneous other types of income, such as rents, royalties, other income. They have a couple other specifics in the box of the form here, but that's, the basic overview that I would give today. Moving on to group term life, which is another common fringe benefit request we get. You may exclude the cost of up to $50,000 in group term life coverage. And some things that you may need to know about it are that the employer pays the insurance premiums on the employee's behalf. Only coverage in an amount greater than $50,000 is taxable. The value of the GTL benefit is calculated using a table provided by the IRS. And iSolved, this table already exists there. It's worth mentioning that GTL is able to be calculated within our system. We do provide an example on the next slide of manual calculation. So early next year, if you decide that you'd much rather not go through with the manual calculation of group term life, just reach out to us and we'd be happy to set up those calculations for you in the system. The amount is subject to Social Security and Medicare taxes, and group term life for spouse or dependents, even for coverage greater than $2,000, can often be excludable as a de minimis fringe benefit. I know there's nothing people love more than noon on a Thursday. It's cold outside. We're going to get into some math. I won't break it down for you here, but there is a screenshot of the IRS age table that exists in iSolved when it comes to doing group term life calculations. This slide will be available for viewing later, but we just did an example here to get to an annual reporting total. So that's what this slide talks about. Auto allowances. So there are different types of vehicle-related benefits that are taxable and do need to be reported. The two most popular, of course, are personal use of a company car. The non-business use of a company car is taxable, and the auto cash allowance, which is paid allowance to an employee related to the use of a personal car, which is taxable. All right, employer paid insurance for owners. So if an employee is actually a 2% or more shareholder in an S Corp, IRS rules exclude them from pre-tax medical or dental benefits. Here's how it's handled. The employee or the 2% shareholder may not have post-tax deductions made from their check. the employer may pay the insurance premium on the employee's behalf. If the employer pays the insurance premium on behalf of the shareholder, the amount of the insurance premium paid is reported as taxable income in boxes 1 and 14 where state tax is applicable. How is it all done? Essentially, we ask you consult your year-end checklist. Those of you who this is not their first year-end that they're completing already know the steps to take before making sure that you need to reach out to our customer service department to report anything that doesn't already exist in iSolved. For valuation, we ask that you check with a CPA, class of an employee, check with an attorney. Taxability, the IRS publication 15B is an excellent resource. Just note that fringe benefits are often taxable for all tax types. Common practice is to withhold only FICA and Medicare. Then when an employee files their tax return at the beginning of the next year, those numbers will true themselves up. Step 1 would be to call or email Dominion Payroll, call our customer service or email us, and we'll send you a checklist, whichever one or both are applicable for you. Once we get that e-form completed and returned to us, we'll walk you through the steps that are necessary from our end and your end to make sure that accurate records are recorded and you can consider everything done for your end. When it comes to resources and additional information, we talked a bit about it. IRS publication 15B is great. We've really taken the time this year, especially going primarily virtual, all the excellent resources when we think of the webinars that have been hosted this year. That resources section and helping guides at dominionpayroll.com is a wealth of knowledge for anything that you may need. Certainly don't hesitate to call or reach out to us at customer service at dominionpayroll.com. And that's everything that I have for you all this morning. Does anybody have any questions that I could assist?
So it looks like, well, first off, Alex, thank you for that. That was super informative and I know really helpful just for all of our clients just to have those hard dates and that guidance. As far as questions go, our own JVK, Jordan Colmer, has really just been hot on the keyboard and taking care of everybody in the Q&A. So I think I would just say, folks, reach out to customer service at dominionpayroll.com. Oh no, I'm getting a notice that Andy Ligori, the legend himself, also answered a question. So credit where credit is due.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time.
All right. Well, Alex, great job. And I know that everybody in our client service department, there were a lot of compliments coming in the early part of our seminar. And so kudos to everybody there on the front line, answering the phones and taking care of all those tickets. To all our clients, you can reach out to customer service at dominionpayroll.com and we will take care of you just as quickly as possible.